Once we collect and review the information, we will use this data as a launching pad for local businesses, community leaders, and organizations to steer the course of our collective future. We aim to grow in a manner that Hammonton residents will embrace and trust. We ask you to consider participating in Heart and Soul and share your insights with us. Help us to build a home we love. Together, we can help create change to make Hammonton better for all of us.
Hammonton Heart and Soul es un proyecto sin fines políticos que tiene como objetivo conectar a las personas con lo que aman sobre donde viven. Un pequeño grupo de voluntarios de Hammonton que han trabajado colectivamente para ayudar a poner en marcha este proyecto. Actualmente estamos realizando entrevistas para poder involucrar a los residentes en conversaciones sobre sus esperanzas para el futuro de nuestra ciudad. Esperamos involucrar a todos en nuestra comunidad y estamos buscando intencionalmente las voces de aquellos que rara vez se escuchan. Buscamos primero determinar lo que le importa a la gente de Hammonton y luego usar esta información para dirigir el cambio en lugar de simplemente responder a él. A través de Heart and Soul, esperamos poder identificar las cualidades que los residentes de Hammonton realmente valoran, la gente, los lugares, las experiencias que nos hacen ser quienes somos. Que realizamos más entrevistas y escuchamos a muchos más residentes de Hammonton. Una vez que recopilemos y revisemos la información, utilizaremos estos datos como plataforma de lanzamiento para que las empresas locales, los líderes comunitarios y las organizaciones dirijan el curso de nuestro futuro colectivo. Nuestro objetivo es crecer de una manera que los residentes de Hammonton acepten y confíen. Le pedimos que considere participar en Heart and Soul y comparta sus ideas con nosotros. Ayúdanos a construir una comunidad que amemos.
Welcome to Kramer Hall. With a variety of course offerings, public programs, and continuing education opportunities, Kramer Hall is the ideal location for you to continue your academic journey. My name is Christina Birchler, and I have the pleasure of serving as the director of Stockton University's campus here in Hammonton.
And my name is Nick Zabrowski, and I'm in charge of student and community programming.
My experience at Kramer Hall has been excellent. So as the director of the Master's Program in Counseling here at Stockton, all of our classes are held exclusively here at Kramer Hall. The staff are super attentive, and we often say this is our own little family and this is our home.
Even though it's just one building, I wasn't really sure what I was going to expect, but the staff is always so nice. I say hi to literally every single person I see. I always feel so welcomed and warm when I'm here. It's just a really good environment to learn in.
I would say definitely how close-knit the town is. There's a lot of little shops, bakeries, and everything that it's a little town to explore, which I think is really cute.
So my experience at Kramer Hall, it's been amazing. I absolutely love this area. I don't have to fight over parking, which is amazing. And you know, it's more compact. There's not a lot of people, so it feels more homey and yeah, more cohesive.
I think just the environment in general. I love the art. I love everything that's kind of comforting about it. And like I said, it's really nice to come somewhere that you just feel safe. You feel safe leaving, you feel safe coming. It's just a really nice environment.
It's like an intimate setting. I can find my professors when I want to. There's this awesome guy named Nick. He's just always there. He's like on the ball, like easily accessible.
It's been wonderful. It's for example, everyone's been supportive of me. When I was trying to get into a practicum, all the teachers reached out to me, and I just thought that was a wonderful thing. I didn't even have to reach out to them. They all reached out to me. It just blew my mind.
I like the small city feel, so everyone feels like they know each other. You know, the local shops are all so wonderful and so friendly, and it's just such a nice experience exploring the town and really showing what, you know, Hammonton has to offer.
We're here for you.
Take a class.
Visit our art galleries.
Use the computer lab.
Study in some of our quiet spaces.
Meet with your clubs and organizations.
Or attend a free workshop.
There's always room for you at Kramer Hall.
And thanks so much for joining us for this month's edition of Up Next on Access Hammonton. I'm your host and friendly neighborhood weatherman, Nor'easter Nick. I simply cannot believe that it's back to school season already, right? Can you? I mean, before we know it, we'll be celebrating Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas. Can we slow down the hands of time? While we try to figure that one out, let's shift gears and see how our local schools here in town are gearing up for the big return next week. I caught up with Hammonton Public Schools Superintendent Robin Kieko to see how they are prepping.
Cleaning of the buildings, the getting of the materials, the setting up the classrooms, moving people around to see where we need to be, all those types of things have to happen. So it's a lot of work, and you know, the outside, the inside, any type of improvements that we're making in terms of like security, cameras, you know, all those things. Well, this year I feel is so much different than last year, because last year we were coming off the pandemic, we were coming off the hybrid schedules. Even though we'd come back towards the end of the school year, it still wasn't a normal year. I really feel like this year is the first normal year we've had probably in 3 years. And I think everybody is just excited that that's what we're coming back to. Expectations are high. We have, all our programs in place. We're filling up the last of our staff vacancies. So, I really feel like we're in a good place. And I think that everybody has that sense of hope and that sense of excitement because we're back and it's back to normal. It's just exciting just to see the start of the school year. There's always some anxiety. I still have that the first day of school like I did when I first started teaching, but it's still exciting. And it's great this year that we'll have our staff comes back on September 1st, and for the first time in a couple of years, we're going to all be together at the high school to have our opening speeches and things like that. So it's going to be really nice to see everybody back together.
All right, now, fun fact, Ms. Kieko was my science teacher not too long ago. Always good seeing her and the great job she is doing with the district. On the other side of town, St. Joseph Academy is putting pedal to the metal, getting ready for their students to walk through their halls. President Stephen Capuccio was gracious enough to take a few moments to speak with me about their preparations.
Very busy summer for us at St. Joe Academy. A lot of cleaning projects, a lot of moving around, some small construction projects, a lot of new teachers, getting a lot of new teachers and administrators ready for the school, implementing new technologies and things like that. So it's been a very busy summer here at St. Joe. The kids, this is why we do what we do. We love our students and can't wait for them to get on campus. So very much looking forward to seeing them at orientation next week. One of the challenges is just to have a constant communication flow with your teachers over the summer because they're kind of busy with their own lives. Some of them are working, some of them are caring for parents, children, things of that nature. So just trying to keep them in the loop of what we're doing weekly, bi-monthly, something of that effect, and then kind of helping them to ease into turning the switch on. So we're here this week for 3 days of professional development, getting our classrooms ready, collaborating with colleagues in regards to syllabus and curriculum and course mapping and things of that nature, just to make sure that when we get to day one, our first day of classes, that everyone's on the same page and ready to go. The end of last year was great in regards to a lot of those restrictions were lifted. So I think a lot of teachers and students, enjoyed not having masks anymore and things of that nature. So we just try to, take it as it comes. Right now it looks good for schools with the CDC's guidance and Department of Education's guidance, but you have to be flexible. If the past 2.5 to 3 years have taught us anything in education, is you need to be flexible and adaptable to what's on the horizon. So hopefully, we can get back to the normal routine of student life events and different things that we've had to put on hold in regards to things we want to do here, but for the most part, we're returning to normalcy, I should say. The best message to any student who's new to any school, but especially St. Joe, is get involved. Especially when you're making the transition from 8th to 9th or 5th to 6th going into middle school. You're starting a new school, it's a blank slate. So don't be afraid to try new things, meet new people, don't get kind of stuck in your little circle. Spread your wings a little bit and you can be whoever you want to be and do whatever you want to do. That's the beauty of the blank slate. The growth of St. Joe Academy. It's been a very tough 3 years for this school. So we're going on year 3 of St. Joe Academy since it was closed and then reopened as an independent school. This is my first full year starting at the school because I only started in November. We've seen enrollment growth already, so I'm very excited to see. We have a great freshman class coming in. We doubled our freshman enrollment from the year before. So I am very excited to see what they look like. But also for the year ahead, we got a great group of seniors that have a tremendous amount of school spirit. So we're pretty excited for what they're going to bring to the school year. We think it's going to be a special one.
It's crazy. All those years living in Hammonton, and that was the first time I ever was in that building. Thanks so much for speaking with me, Stephen. Very much appreciate it. This past Sunday, the Puerto Rican Civic Association held their annual flag-raising ceremony in front of Town Hall in anticipation for Hispanic Heritage Month in September. Myrna Santiago tells us what it's all about.
I've been here all my life. I love Hammonton. It's a wonderful community. The Puerto Rican Civic Association, even though it's named Puerto Rican Civic, it is really for all the Latinos in Hammonton. My father and was one of the founding members. My mother was one of the members. So we really try to reach to all the Latinos in the community. Come out and support us when we have our events, because our events, especially when we do our luncheons, they are really to give a place to go after church and have a lunch, and we're reasonably priced. And you can come and listen to music and bring your family and just kind of enjoy yourself at the club. And then when we do our events throughout the year. Diversity is everyone, from the Latinos to the gay community to the Italians, to everyone, every nationality.
We all know Town Hall is a big building. It can be a little overwhelming if you need to drop by for some reason. So many levels and doors and all that kind of stuff. We put together this quick tour to help you navigate next time your travels bring you by. It houses our courtroom and council chambers to your right. The double windows beyond that is where you will speak to our court clerks to pay fines or inquire about tickets and court matters. The second floor houses our construction department, tax assessor, tax collector, and police records. Visit the tax assessor for information on tax appeals, veterans or senior citizen tax deductions, and farmland assessments. You can also find deed and property assessment information here. The construction office is where you will go for building and zoning permits, code enforcement, and the fire code official. The tax collector's office has double windows where you can inquire and pay your property taxes and utility, water, and sewer bills, and obtain a pass for the convenience station, the dump. Police records is where you can apply for your firearms permit, handicap parking permit, or pick up police accident, incident, and investigation reports. The third floor houses the mayor's office, clerk's office, fire chief's office, IT department, AH office, and conference room. Once you reach the top step or walk out to the elevator, the clerk's office is to your right. Our clerks, business administrator and town clerk, public works manager, and deputy clerk registrar work here. In this office, you can apply for all licensing: food truck, solicitor, business, raffle, bingo, and dog. Records of all births, marriages, and deaths that occurred in Hammonton are here, and you can obtain certified copies of those in this office. Local election results are tallied here on election night. If you wish to remove a tree or use a town facility, those applications can be picked up and dropped off here. Public meeting minutes and requests for public records, OPRA, are also in this office. The mayor and fire chief are not always in, so a phone call to their office ahead of a visit is recommended. Walking into a large building like Town Hall can be intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. If you have any questions, you can contact the clerk's office at 609-567-4300, extension 105. Well, we certainly hope that helps you out. 1 year ago today, I did a job swap with Chief Friel. It was so much fun. We had to show it to you again. So we will leave you this month with a little laugh. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you next month to see what's up next on Access Hammonton.
Switching jobs? Yeah, I'm up for the challenge. I mean, why not, right? I could do this job. I've been studying the charts, studying all of the weather. I've been watching the weatherchannel.com.
I got my donuts. I got my police training manual and the pictures because, I mean, that's how you learn everything, right? I got my chief mug. I have Sergeant Squeals that's going to tell me everything that's going on here.
All right, we're going to call the meeting to order. It's approximately 7 o'clock, a little after 7. We're going to call our September 26th meeting to order. Roll call, please, Frank.
Councilperson Fagioni?
Here.
Gribben?
Here.
Oliva?
Here.
Olivo?
Here.
Rodeo?
Here.
Woolerman?
Here.
Mayor DiDonato?
Here.
Present also Mike Malinsky, Town Solicitor. Robert Batiste, Public Works Manager.
Here.
Mark Herman of ARH, Town Engineer. He's by way of telephone. Notice of this meeting has been posted and given to official newspapers. Please familiarize yourself with the fire exits to the right and rear of council chambers. Please do not proceed beyond the front benches without invitation from the mayor to do so. Also, each person who wishes to address council will be allotted 5 minutes.
All rise for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You want?
All right. First of 2 opportunities for the public to be heard on action items. Anybody from the public like to be heard on action items? Seeing no one, I'd close that first public portion. Could I get approval of the minutes of the executive session, August 29, and the council meeting of August 29, please?
So moved.
Gribben first.
Second.
Second, Rodeo. Discussion on the minutes. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain? Opposed? Motion carried. With that, we think we have a police promotion. Chief Friel, floor is all yours.
Good evening, Mayor, councilpersons, and the community of Hammonton. In our police department, we've had some retirements, and we have a few positions that we are going to be filling through the promotional process. Present time, we're waiting for a few civil service lists to come out for our promotionals, but at this time, we do have a list that's available for our promotion for this evening. This individual has been a police officer with us since 2001. He has risen through the ranks. In 2015, he was promoted to the rank of sergeant. In 2019, he got to be the first group of people, part of the first group of people that I got to do as promotions as chief. And in 2019, he rose to the rank of lieutenant. This young man, I'll say, because he's younger than me, has definitely dedicated his self to the profession of law enforcement and keeping our community safe. He has been on our emergency response team while we had that. He is always tactically at mind in any event that we have, in the event planning. He's always looking out to make sure that our community is safe. As we had our Mount Carmel Festival, he was the person that I left it in the hands of figuring out the tactics and dynamics for our procession to make sure that our community and those visiting our community for the procession would be safe. And he's a person that I proudly call my brother in blue and also my friend. This person is a graduate of Widener College, and as I said, he has dedicated his career to making sure that this community receives the police presence and security that it deserves. So I would like to present to Mayor and Council Lieutenant Don Coonan to be promoted to the rank of Captain of the Police Department to serve our community in leadership and in his police skills that he continually gives with his heart and soul for the community.
Come on up, Lieutenant, and I see you have a beautiful white shirt on. We'd like to swear you in with your new title.
You have to
We got to vote.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
we got excited. I got excited, yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to make the motion for Lieutenant Don Coonan for the promotion and position of captain.
I'd like to second that, Mayor.
Okay. Gribben first, Rodeo second. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Fagioni?
Yes.
Gribben?
Yes.
Oliva?
Yes.
Olivo? Yes. Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
Mayor DiDonato?
Absolutely 100% yes, motion carried. Come on up. Let's swear you in, Captain.
Cameras, buddy, the cameras.
I, Donald Coonan Jr. I, Donald Coonan Jr.
Might be on the bottom there.
Really? Why don't you make it more
Improvise
difficult?
here, we improvise.
I, Donald Coonan Jr.
I, Donald Coonan Jr.
Do solemnly affirm
Do solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties required of me
and justly perform all the duties required of me,
of police captain,
a police captain,
effective September 26, 2022,
effective September 26, 2022,
for the town of Hammonton,
for the town of Hammonton,
according to my best ability.
according to my best ability.
I further affirm
I further affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of New Jersey,
and the state of New Jersey,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
And I'm not letting mayor and council off that easy, because as these lists come out, we're going to be asking for some more promotions along the way. We'll be promoting an individual to the rank of lieutenant.
Congratulations.
We'll be promoting more individuals to the rank of sergeant as those lists come available.
Congratulations, Kevin. Congratulations, buddy. Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Captain. Well deserved. You do a tremendous job for the town of Hammonton and with the police force. We're very blessed to have your services, and it was our honor tonight to promote you to captain. The honor was ours. Congratulations. Chief, I think you had something else for, as far as a festival coming? You wanted to-
Well, if we can, actually, if you want to hit the law and order right now,
Do it
I know
now,
we're
sure.
taking it out of turn. We've got a few things that are coming up on the horizon line. St. Mary of Mount Carmel Parish is going to be having a fall festival carnival. I'm asking mayor and council for the support of providing police officers out there for this event. It's going to be a 4-day event this year instead of one. So we want to make sure that the community is safe. Not sure of how much of a draw it's going to bring, but we want to make sure that we're safe with that. Deputy Mayor Gribben is going to talk about, we're going to want to have our Halloween festival actually on Halloween. I certainly have the support of our police department to make sure that our community is safe to do an evening hour Halloween. So we'll let the deputy mayor take care of that during his presentation. The other thing that we have coming up, just so that everyone is being careful and cautious, we are still high in the numbers. We are now probably up to 80 DWIs for the year, which is 20 more than last year. Thank goodness, not mostly our community residents, but people driving through. So I just want to commend the police force for doing a great job of making sure that we're taking dangerous individuals off the street that should not be driving. And we have another community event that's coming up October 1st. We have our Green Day Festival, which is also our town-wide yard sale. So I would ask those residents that are having the yard sales to make sure that people are not parking, blocking roadways, and make sure that you keep your yard and area so that there are not people crossing in between vehicles and we don't have a pedestrian accident in that as well too. Other than that, the community's doing a great job on their part. We'll have another medication collection coming up on the weekend of the 29th, off the top of my head, of October. So right before trick or treat, clear out your cabinets, get rid of the medications. We'll be doing a medication collection here to help keep everybody safe and to keep our environment safe so that people aren't dumping it in the wastewater treatment. We don't want that. Other than that, as I said, we'll be having some more promotions hopefully coming soon, waiting upon our civil service list and waiting upon our entrance civil service list, because as we know, right now we are at a deficit in the amount of officers that we have. And I know that Mayor and Council fully support that we want to keep our community safe and keep our staffing where it should be. We are kind of unfortunately at the hands of civil service waiting for that, unless we can get a couple interested lateral transfers from other civil service communities that are going to get signed off on for an intergovernmental transfer. And that's not very likely at this point, because most law enforcement agencies are a little bit short. Anything Mayor and Council may have?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to recess for a couple minutes, Hammonton, to congratulate the new captain. All right, mics are back on. We're going to resume the meeting. While we're on dispense of regular business, I'd like to get a motion to open up for a public hearing on ordinance 020-2022. It's a bond ordinance for computer equipment and airport taxiway. Could I get a motion from council?
So moved.
Gribben.
Second motion.
Olivo. We're now open to the public. If anybody would like to be heard on 020-2022, it's a bond ordinance, computer equipment, server for the town of Hammonton, and airport taxiway repairs. The computer equipment is approximately $250, and the improvement to the taxiway is $604,954 for a total of $854,954.
And with the FAA portion, that's a grant, $504,000 of grant comes with that.
And then we spoke earlier about hangars being built and all, that's along that area there is where it's all getting rehabbed.
Okay. So the end result is a cost of $332,500 for both things. We're going to borrow, the total will be $350,000 to the taxpayers of the town of Hammonton. Can I get a motion to close the public portion, adopt and publish?
So moved.
Gribben first.
Second.
Second, Rodeo. Discussion.
And just as we discussed at the last meeting, the other portion of this going towards computer updates for the servers within the town hall and our police department is a much-needed upgrade. It's our hope that should this pass tonight, we would see those improvements made sometime in December. It's our understanding.
Any additional discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Fagioni?
Yes.
Gribben?
Yes.
Oliva?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
Mayor DiDonato?
Yes, motion carried. With that, we'll jump into administration. Deputy Mayor Gribben, reports, committee reports, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is quite rare for me because it's not very long, my administration committee report. The administration committee did meet this past Thursday. We talked about several personnel items and items that have no action item attached to them. The only update I have is that our new studio for Access Hammonton that will be completed on the 3rd floor is coming along as scheduled. I know I gave some updates last month about where we stood in the process. We're waiting for a few other items, but everything's still like I said, on schedule, and so we're hoping that we could have that completed by the end of by the end of October or into November. But besides that, Mr. Mayor, there are a few action items on tonight's agenda which we'll take up at the appropriate time, but that will conclude my report for the Administration Committee tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Gribben. With that, we'll jump over to Business and Industry. Councilman Olivo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have a few events. One I'd like to mention that was in the past was on September 11th. We had a ribbon cutting at Simply Salon Suites in Raspberry Run. There's 14 individual suite owners there. It's really nice the way they created that for 14 different businesses to be in that location. I suggest you take a ride out there. And at the ribbon cutting, Councilman Oliva and Ben Ott from the Chamber of Commerce were there. Upcoming events we have on 10/1 this Saturday is the Green Day Festival from 12 to 4 on South 2nd Street. It's also the town-wide yard sale. On Wednesday, October 19th, the Chamber of Commerce is going to be sponsoring the International Wine and Beer Expo, which has been on hiatus for a while because of the COVID situation. That's going to be held from 6:30 to 10 o'clock at the Cathedral Event Center. Tickets are available for that at eventbrite.com. That's eventbrite.com. And the tickets are $65 a piece. On 10/20, October 20th is third Thursday. The theme is ghosts. It's featuring ghost stories, walking tours from 5:30 to 7:30, and that's going to be held behind Cassiano's. Saturday, October 22nd, is downtown Trick or Treat from 2 to 4. Then on Wednesday, October 26th, is the Kiwanis Halloween Parade, and that's at 7 p.m. If you looked around the town, there's all the flags up for the Hispanic Month. We want to thank the people from the Town of Hammonton to put that up. And also, I'd like to shout out again to Ron's Garden Center for the flowers and for the corn stalks and the large bows that were put up, and the people that he sent out there to help with the installation. That was all on Ron. We want to thank him again for doing that for us in the Town of Hammonton. And again, don't forget, shop, drink, and eat locally, please. I mean, we have a beautiful downtown and surrounding area, and they all appreciate your business. And that concludes my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councilman Olivo. And
Oh, you know what? I have one more thing, if I may. One more thing is this Saturday, October 1st, the Hammonton Hawks are having their homecoming game. And they're also welcoming back Frankie Lasasso, and they're honoring him at the varsity game, and that varsity game is at 7 p.m. So I just want to make mention of that Frankie Lasasso is going to be back. I believe he's ready to play.
Yeah, there's asking everyone to be there for like 6:30. I was talking to Clarkie Habermail, and they're hoping to get a real good crowd. It's a great thing that's happening. Billy, thank you for mentioning that. And Frank Sr., we know how long he's been a devoted person to all sports. And it's his grandson, and also Frankie, the father, has been around his whole life also. So it's going to be a pretty neat thing.
for anybody who doesn't know in Hammonton, I know most people know the Lasasas, but young Frankie's, what, about 10 years old, 12 years old now? He was diagnosed with cancer leukemia at 10 years old? Nine, maybe? Okay, I might not have the age exactly right, but he's got a clean bill of health, and I think he's able to play football again. So with that, we welcome him back to the game he loves, and if you can go out and support him this week, that would be an awesome thing.
I forgot one thing. Let's not forget great-grandfather. He's the guy that led it.
That's true.
Mr. Moose.
Yep.
Four generations.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly, Billy, exactly.
They have a lot of, they love that field. I know when I played football, young Frank at the time, I believe he was a junior or senior, broke his neck on that field. Yes. So they love the game, and they give it all for it. So it's great to bring him back.
Great family.
All right. And Councilman Olivo, I want to thank you very much for serving on Law and Order. I know that is safety, and the police are near and dear to your heart. And I thank you tonight for swearing in Captain Coonan. You do a tremendous job, and your experience and your knowledge on law and order is very much appreciated, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
With that, we'll jump over to Quality of Life and Education. Councilman Oliva.
Thank you very much, Mayor. On behalf of Quality of Life Committee, I do have 2 items that I just wanted to bring to Council's attention. First, Councilman Olivo and then the Chief also brought up Green Day this Saturday, 10/1 at noon, from noon to 4. Under our original resolution, we did say that, should town support be required, that it would be provided, but there will be a road closure with that. The original resolution didn't specifically state a road closure for a certain amount of time. Do we feel like we should give a certain timeline on there?
Please, make a motion for that if you'd like.
So that location is 2nd Street between Bellevue and Vine, and the requested hours of parking control signs and no parking would be from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. to give vendors the opportunity to get in between 8 and 10 and out between 4 and 6. So I'd just like to make that, put that in the form of a motion to allow no parking on 2nd Street between Vine and Bellevue for the Green Day Festival on Saturday, October 1st.
From when to when?
2022.
From when to when?
Oh, no parking from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay, we have it in form of first from Oliva. Could I have a second?
Second motion.
Olivo. Discussion, please. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you all. Second item under quality of life, keeping with the way that we've handled this in the last few years, the Quality of Life Committee met, also had an opportunity to discuss with the chief about trick or treat this year, establishing trick or treat hours. The chief, as well as the Quality of Life Committee, agreed that Monday, October 31st, keeping trick or treat on Halloween. This will be the first time that it's not on a weekend in 2 years, but also keeping the expanded hours. Prior to 2020, the hours were from 6 to 8. We expanded that in 2020 to 5:30 to 8. That gives about an hour and 15 minutes during the daytime and about an hour and 15 minutes, dark hours, for older kids to get out and you have a little bit of fun. I'd like to bring it to council for their consideration to continue to keep trick or treat on Halloween, Monday, 10/31 from 5:30 to 8 p.m. and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Okay, we have a motion from Oliva. Do we have a second for trick or treat?
Second.
Rodeo second. Discussion.
So a few residents had called. I know there were some concerns, some ideas about whether we would move Halloween. I know we have one time in the past for weather related. I just remind, it's a nice thing to live in a community like Hammonton that has so many events as we do for our younger residents and the kids that might want to trick or treat during the daytime. I remind everybody that, as Councilman Olivo stated, we have downtown trick or treat, which will be on October 22nd, and that's an option. We have the Halloween parade on the 26th. We have trick or treat on the 31st. So it's nice to have all of these different events for all of our residents to enjoy. But I do support continuing trick or treat on Halloween.
There's also the trunk or treat for that the schools do, and I don't know the exact date on that, but I'll make sure we have that for the next council meeting as well.
That's right. At the high school, they have that as well.
Additional discussion. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you all. And coming up in October, we'll have some safety recommendations, as we always do, in our upcoming October meeting. As it gets closer, we'll have notes and information that will be up on Access Hammonton. That will also be in the chief's chat with the chief as well. So there'll be some more information there. That concludes my report for quality of life.
Jonathan, when you, real quick,
Yes.
Councilman Oliva, when you did the road closure, you said no parking also, correct?
Yes.
I just want to make sure,
Yep.
okay. Just want to clarify that. Okay.
Road
thank you.
closure and no parking.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to catch on to that word. I might have missed it, I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry, go ahead, please continue.
No problem. That concludes my report for quality of life, and then moving on to school board items. First, back to school nights are upcoming, other than the high school, which was last week. the 3 back-to-school nights that are continuing. ECEC's back-to-school night is the 28th, so this Wednesday. That's at 6 p.m. Wes back-to-school night is this Thursday, the 29th. That's at 6 p.m. And then the middle school's back-to-school night is October 6th. That's also at 6 p.m. High school's back-to-school night was last week, but just a quick reminder for everyone, ECEC, West, and middle school, their back-to-school nights are upcoming. All of them start at 6 p.m. That information is also on the school's website, so you can find any of that information there. Last piece of information I have is the Hammonton Education Foundation. Their inaugural Thanks for Giving Gala is Saturday, November 19th from 6 to 10 p.m. That'll take place at the Cart Barn at Pinelands Country Club. The proceeds there benefit the foundation, which funds innovative projects for the public school district. Those tickets can be purchased from any member of the Hammonton Education Foundation. So if you know a member of the Education Foundation, feel free to reach out to them to acquire your tickets, or you could always send an email to thanksforgivinggala@gmail.com. We'll put that information up on Access Hammonton and out through Facebook as well. But that looks to be a very nice event, as it typically is, and excited for attending. That concludes my report for Education Committee as well, and I thank everyone for their time this evening.
Thank you, Councilman Oliva. We'll jump over to Public Works and Transportation. Councilman Rodeo.
I got a short one for you tonight, Mayor.
Go for it.
There is an action item, but I'll let Mark Herman from ARH discuss that. It was with the demolition of K&K here. There is many other ones that are in progress that I know Councilman Forgione and him will talk about, and I'll leave that for that there. And also Mr. Batiste in his report, I see some different items there. I'll reserve my time for them if there's anything I'd like to add to any of those items. And that really kind of concludes my report. As the fall comes on, I'll say one little quick thing, not to step on Mr. Batiste, but we'll wait as the weather comes is where we'll start with our fall leaf season. The weather's still been really nice. There ain't much that's come down yet. It's always usually October 1st, but you know, Mr. Rivera will play it by look, by weather, by cold weather, where to get started and start spotting areas. But as soon as they really start to come down, we'll be in full force. We're ready to go. That's the one thing I did want to say. That concludes my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, and thank you for, I want to thank everybody for their hard work on K&K. I'd be remiss to, that looks terrific with that building finally gone. Eventually it will be a parking lot. We'll tie that in with Town Hall. I believe we're going to wait for some settlement and different things, a little bit of time, because there was a basement in a small section there. So, but it's going to look fantastic when it's done. So thank you all for your hard work. We'll jump over to Water and Sewer and Councilman Forgione.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me, I have one action item and then have some stuff to talk about in the various reports. As far as an action item goes, under Mr. Woolman's research, there's discretionary funds available from the state. Some of this money has been set aside for water projects. So I'd like to send a letter to the state requesting discretionary funds. I thought we can go after Route 54, the First Road 10th Street project, and just list Lakeview Gardens as a potential candidate. We should also get this over to Assemblyman Teresi to have them attach a letter as well for support, and see if we can get some money out of the state for it. So I'll make that in the form of a motion.
All right, we have Forgione for a first. Second. Second, Woolerman. Discussion on the motion. Roll call, please, since it's money involved.
Councilperson Forgione?
Yes.
Gribben?
Yes.
Oliva?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
And Mayor DiDonato?
Yes, motion carried.
And just thank Mr. Woolman for finding this. He looks in all the nooks and crannies to find these. Two other quick updates I have as far as it goes with the land app of Boyer Ave. Trenches, we're loading 2 trenches currently. The other 3 are just a little bit of groundwater. They're going to till those in the next couple of weeks, get them prepared for winter. The lagoon is low, probably 2 feet or a little bit less, so we're in good shape going into winter as long as it doesn't get, doesn't turn on us, but we look okay. And we got an update last week on the centrifuge to sewer plant. It's scheduled for delivery, or they're telling us now for January. In anticipation of that, the electrician already did the rough and electrical work to convert from the filter press over to the centrifuge. We're going to bring the plumber in here this fall. There's 2 new pumps to install, and they'll get all the rough plumbing done. And we're trying to coordinate this so the centrifuge comes, we tear down the block wall and put the stainless steel door in all kind of at one time. So hopefully beginning of next year we'll have that project done. Keep everyone informed, but that's all I have tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman Frigioni.
Hey, Mayor, real quick before we move on, I just wanted to bring up, it's wonderful. I mentioned the trunk or treat. I got 3 text messages within about 30 seconds of each other. The trunk or treat hosted by the Hammonton Home and School Association is October 23rd from 1 to 4 p.m. So downtown trick or treat is the 22nd. That's a Saturday. And then the trunk or treat is on the Sunday, the 23rd. So back to back there.
Thank you.
Could I do one more date?
Please,
that
go
I
ahead.
forgot? Okay. The Hammonton Cancer Foundation will be holding their dinner this year, Saturday, October 15th. And that's going to be at Winslow Manor at 6 o'clock. And for more information on that, it's hammontoncancerfoundation.org. So they're holding their thing on October 15th, Saturday. Okay? I think I'm done.
Thank you very much. All right. With that, we'll jump over to Mr. Herman with the engineer's report. You're up, Mark.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
I think we got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, good.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so there's one action item Mr. Grodio mentioned regarding the K Linen project. It's final closeout for the project. The contract was $111,000. The final value would be $102,000. So there'll be a change order that was submitted for a deduction of $9,000 for the contract. So I would just need an action on that to approve the change order, and then once that's done, I can get the final maintenance bond in place and close the project out for good.
All right. Can we get a motion for the final change order in the amount of $9,000, please?
Deduction,
So moved.
too. Make sure it's a deduction.
It's deduction of $9,000.
Deduction.
So moved. Woolerman first.
Second.
Second, Olivo. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Frigioni?
Yes.
Gribben?
Yes.
Oliva?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
And Mayor DiDonato?
Yes, motion carried.
Okay, all the action items ahead. Can give you a quick update on some projects. Regarding our Valley Avenue project, we're anticipating all the concrete work being done this week at the curb and the sidewalk, including the sidewalk to take us to the Broadway intersection. Once the concrete work's done, we'll jump right into repaving next week, boxing out the road and rebuilding the road. So we're coming to the end of that project, which is we're going to be doing the base, the base course for now. So that'll be good to kind of get that cleaned up for everybody. Schoolhouse Lane.
So real quick, Mark, just to clarify, you feel that in the next 2 to 3 weeks, by mid to late October, this project will be in the 90 percentile other than top course?
Yes, I do. Yes, yeah, all the utilities are in good shape. So I do believe by the middle of the month, late in the month, we should be, 90%, like you said, we'll be in good shape.
Okay. Now, we've had some questions about gas lines that were possibly nicked or damaged or hit unforeseenly, unfortunately. Has there been any education process for the contractor? So if he's on jobs again, that this doesn't happen again? Has there been any fines? How are we doing this so we, any slap on the wrist? What's the deal? What's the contractor doing to never have this issue again?
This is strictly a BPU thing, from what I understand. I talked to them, and basically when they hit the one in question was there's an actual main that was marked, and that was just hit. That was referred to the BPU. They came down. They're going to see a substantial fine. They're going to see penalties on there. That's, I'm not any worried. I mean, they're going to get slapped hard on that one. Of course, I think there's 2 other laterals that were hit. One was actually under the curb, and when they removed the curb, it was marked. When they removed the curb, it was actually like stuck to the concrete, and it pulled a tab, and then another one was not marked out. So the big one in question is obviously the main, and that is the BPU is handling that one. I should get a report on there once all that's taken care of. So I don't think the contractor has any internal. When I talked to the guy on the field, they don't have any internal training they do when this happens. These guys are excavators; they're not really gas operators, so they don't really have certain training for this. It's just they're going to get hammered by the BPU regarding a fine and possibly more. I don't know, but they'll pay pretty substantially for that incident for the gas.
All right, because when you hit a main, somebody could really get hurt. Not only the operator of that machine, the employees, or the residents of the town. So honestly, when you hit a main, they got to throw the book at you because you screwed up big time.
Oh yeah, no, it is coming. I agree 100%. No one wants to see that. I don't believe the guy has even done any more operating ever since then. I thought that I was told that he was moved somewhere else, but I just what I've been told, and from other people's experience, the DPU will come down hard on them for this, not only for the time to be out there, but also for the fine for the carelessness of what they did.
All right, thank you for the update. Go for it.
Mark.
What? Go ahead.
Mark, I have a couple things on Valley. For starters, not 100% yet, but it looks like we get some weather coming up this weekend with the remnants of whatever hits Florida. Can we make sure the contractor gets this road squared away for the weekend? I don't know if he has to bring in DGA, bring in stone, but if we get a substantial rainfall, it's not going to cut it over the weekend, all that mud out there.
Yes, I'll talk to them about that. I actually was thinking about that because even if you look at from the Broadway side, it's pretty dusty, it needs to be cleaned up. So I'll make sure to make it to talk to them tomorrow like that and get that squared for the weekend.
And just to go along with that, I drove through it again today. He has no silt bags on the new storm sewer, and if we're going to get a heavy rainfall, he really needs to get those stabilized, so we don't have sand and silt going into those new storm drains. If we could have them do that as well.
Yeah, I'll make sure that's all taken care of before the weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah, before the rain comes, yeah.
Mark, one question that I have is, said Willerman, you said that by October we could be into the paving sequence on the project. Are we going to try to keep the stab course in place for a while in order to get as much compaction over all the trenches that were dug there before we put it on the final wearing course?
Yeah, that's exactly. So when we base it, we'll let it sit for a couple of weeks, and we'll monitor that. We'll see if there's any sediment areas, any areas to be repaired, and then when we'll keep an eye on that for sure. When I feel comfortable, I'll give them the go ahead.
Is there any way we can keep it longer than a couple weeks, Mark? Because a couple weeks, that's nice, but should we be looking to keep it longer than that and go back in the spring and base both roads this fall and come back in the spring and top both since the same contractor?
We can certainly do that. Valley, we haven't really done any trench work. Valley in probably a month, right? It's been once the water and sewer is done, we do some lining. So, but it's certainly a possibility. I mean, we actually certainly talk to them and work out something where we leave them over the winter and then come back in the springtime and do the top course down. That's that kind of problem.
He said what exactly? Basically, Mark's saying that do you want to wait a couple weeks or do you want to wait till the springtime? There was a pretty extensive work done on that roadway and a lot of work that was done on that roadway. I think it would behoove us if we can, and it would be up to the engineer and his discretion as to whether or not we can get by for the winter on the stab course. I know the residents may be a little leery of that, but on the other hand, any kind of settlement that's going to occur is going to occur during the winter when we get, the use of the road for a while and a differential in temperature and so forth. And if you wait to put the wearing course on, I'm just asking whether or not that would make for a longer road life when it's finally done.
Did you
get all that?
Are they doing compaction testing out there, Mayor? Can you ask Mark?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I heard.
All right, so let's see if there's if we can wait till the spring to top both roads. Let's see if with the contractor and the contract, if there's going to be another mobilization fee for that, and get back to the committee, please.
I will. And one other thing too I'll look at is also the asphalt price adjustment, right? As you know, like it fluctuates and it's been high, so it could work out in our benefit, it could work out in our detriment, but I'll look and see that. But that'll be something to think about too, is that if we wait till the spring, we're at the mercy of. Yeah.
Are they doing regular compaction testing? Is the contractor doing regular compaction testing in conjunction with their backfill?
Are they doing testing for compaction, Mark, out there?
When they do, I don't know if I have any results handy, but I do think they have some results for like some of the trench compaction. They did all the sewer, but they typically do their own testing. We don't require it, but we don't require them to do anything special. So,
all right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. If you can get us some information to committee, and we'll go from there, Mark.
Yes, sir. Okay.
All right.
And then one last thing, just so everyone understands. We're in the process of evaluating claims from the contractor on Valley. Mr. Herman's sorting them out, and we'll talk about that at Public Works. Apparently, there's some alleged claims they have, and the town has some costs related to helping the contractor. So we'll sort all that out in the next month or so for Valley.
Go on, Mark. If you want to go on Schoolhouse and Old Forks, or go ahead.
Yeah, Schoolhouse Lane. We're finishing up the storm sewer this week. We should be getting to third pretty soon. Then we can backtrack and go down and do the water main. So that's where we are. We've had, as we know, we've had some issues with conflicts out there by St. Joe's School. So we iron them out. We're working through them, but we're back on track. So we'll keep pushing on there. Probably anticipating. I think we'll probably need October to do most of the, get the utilities in. Probably won't be able to maybe base course that road towards the end of October. It'd be nice to get it before Halloween, so I'm going to push for that. But that I don't think a little longer, just because it's been hairy with the utilities on the ground. But we are moving forward past all the conflicts. I think that's it. I guess with Lake Park, real quick. There was one minor issue where when they delivered the playground equipment, they included a layout which was game times, but the wrong layout in. So the contractor laid it out slightly wrong. Luckily, we caught that before we did it. So he got game time, gave the new layout, so we were back on track. So this week he'll be out there to start putting in the playground equipment at the lake.
All right, so Mark, a couple things on Schoolhouse. First, just let them know when they're done at the end of the night, they got to put the barriers up. I drove through here tonight, and they have cones that are moved, so someone could, in theory, drive down either from Bellevue or from Central. They got to get that every night buttoned up, so you can't get down that road at all.
Yes, I noticed that tonight also. I noticed that.
They're moving. Yeah, okay. I know. I think I saw the barrels or the cones. You're right. They need to make sure that they're either more secure or I'll let them know.
All right, and then secondly, we talked in Public Works. St. Joe, the building itself is an old building, especially, well, the one in the back, but both of them actually. And we're going to send a memo to St. Joe with some things that they need to look at. The most important one, in our opinion, would be there's a iron pipe that is their water service. It's a 4-inch service. They're going to get a new valve at the street, but if it's galvanized, it has to come out. I don't know if it's galvanized or not, but if we're excavating everything, the school should look at that pipe, and in my opinion, would be to deal with it. A 4-inch iron pipe is not really ideal anymore, so that's issue number one. Issue number two is there's multiple sewer lines coming out of the building, tied in together. Some are, some aren't. connecting with 4 or 5 laterals at the street. So we're asking if they could look at that. Again, everything's open. They might want to condense those lines into maybe 2 or even 1 as opposed to the 4 or 5 they have now. We had plumbers there last week and our water and sewer guys crawling around the basement, double checking everything. So the stuff in the basement, the best we could see, looks fine. It's the stuff from the outside of the basement to the street where it needs some attention. So we're going to put that in the memo. And the third item is there's a storm drain that's in the parking lot that we're not 100% sure what's even tied into. It may be tied in our sanitary sewer, which would be not great. It may not be. It may be cut off. So one of the things we're proposing is we'll stub out a line off of the storm sewer if they want to access it. But again, everything is dug up, and now would be the time. I know it would be a cost for St. Joe that they probably weren't thinking about, but it is an old building, and plumbing inside, as best we could tell, is good. But there's some things that should be done while this whole project is torn apart. Or if they want us to leave additional stub outs, we could do that now. We just need to have a plan before we put this whole thing back together. So that was one of the big items we talked about in Public Works last week.
And the stubs that we're going to leave, we'll get them outside the concrete surfaces that we're putting in.
Exactly.
Does anybody else have anything else from Mark before we?
And then the last thing, Mark, are we certain that they're going to start the lake this week?
I'm sorry, repeat that, please. I'm sorry.
Are we, Stephen's asking, Councilman Fragioni's asking if we're certain that they're going to start the playground this week or next week. Do we have a start date for the equipment install?
The contractor today told me later this week. So every day I'm going to be on him to make sure that they're there. Because I talked to Denise as well, Denise Mazzio. She wants to be there as well. So I'm staying on top of that. According to the contractor today, they will be out there this week.
Right.
What's the end date for that project?
I'll be posting that.
Do you have any idea how long, Mark, it'll take to complete that project at the lake? Are we looking at 2-3 weeks? Are we looking at a month? What are we looking at?
Yeah, I'm thinking a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks at the most. It won't take too long to do the playground stuff. And then it'll be fencing, line striping, the little walkway, and then restoration and cleanup.
What's their contract say, Mayor?
What's their contract say for completion, Mark? I believe it was contingent upon receiving the equipment, correct?
Yeah, it was a 60-day, I believe that was a 60-day contract, and yes, I did pause it for a little while we were by the playground was being manufactured and delivered. I think it was like a 6 or 8 week lead time on the equipment, so they basically waited for they knew they could, and they stopped until it got delivered.
So how far past the contract are they?
I mean, if you start it from day one, we're probably, I would say, at least a month and a half or so over what days would have been from the beginning. But like I said, they did what they could, but they, I offered. We talked about stopping the. I said I don't think it's unreasonable to stop the contract while they're waiting for the playground to be manufactured and then delivered.
Did we take note of when the equipment was delivered? Does anybody have that?
Well, we know the equipment was delivered before last council meeting in August in Public Works. So the equipment sat there for about a month already. And I know Mr. Herman has verbally put them on notice. But I would say if we don't get activity here Wednesday, Thursday, that we need to take a more forceful approach and put them on notice in writing and get this thing done and put behind us.
So the equipment's been here a month?
Equipment's been here a month.
Over a month,
At least.
probably 6 weeks.
So the equipment has been here a month. That is true. They went there to open the equipment, and they determined that the layout was inaccurate. They just finally got another layout. So there was another week or 10 days they lost because the layout was inaccurate from the manufacturer.
Let me ask this question then. When did they open the packages, so to speak, to see what the layout of the equipment was?
I would say, it's 2 weeks, Mark? Maybe they opened the packages up a week and a half?
A week and a half ago, yes, that's correct.
So the equipment's been here 3 weeks and they didn't take a look at it?
Probably about 2 to 2.5 weeks before they took a look at it, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, the one issue was the playground was about a week and a half, 2 weeks delayed. So the contractor lost the installer's scheduled. He had scheduled for a certain week, and then because game time was 2 weeks behind or whatever, we lost them on the schedule. So it threw everything, and it pushed everybody back. So it's just been a number that have been setting it back. But I have draft letters of notice for this project and other projects because we are getting close on all of our projects with the contractor. So if it needs to be done, I'm prepared to. I can work with Mr. Molesky or however we need to do that to make sure that they're put on notice formally for the contract delays.
Well, as long as they get out there this week, I think council is fine. We just want to get the project done. We'd rather not get into legal maneuvers at this time, but we need them out there this week. So just let them know how very important it is to have their presence in this calendar week, please.
Understood. I will. I'll be on top of them.
Thank you. Is there anything else for your report, Mark?
No, sir. That's good.
Thank you very much, and you enjoy your evening. And thank you for calling in, and hope you feel well soon. All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
All right. Mr. Malinsky, you're up. Solicitor's report.
I have 3 action items this evening. First, if Council so inclined, a motion to approve my representation of the Town of Hammonton with regard to the litigation involving the accident at the intersection of Broadway and Park Avenue as discussed and closed.
Can I get a motion from council as read, please?
So moved.
Olivo first.
Second.
Second, Woolerman. Discussion.
Mayor, can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Just to go back, and I don't want to go on harp on it, but I'm being told that the equipment down the lake was there at August 9th.
Let's take this roll call, and we'll jump back to that. Let's let Mr. Malinsky finish his report.
I'm sorry.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Fagioni?
Yes.
Gribben?
Yes.
Oliva?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
Mayor DiDonato?
Yes, motion carried. Go ahead.
Council so inclined, I need
Finish your
another
report, then
motion.
we'll jump back into that.
To approve my representation of the Town of Hammonton with regard to the litigation involving the accident at the intersection of US Highway 30, well, it didn't occur at the intersection, involving the light at the intersection of US Highway 30 and County Route 542 as discussed and closed.
So moved.
Woolerman first.
Second.
Second, Olivo. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Fagioni?
Yes.
Gribben?
Yes.
Oliva?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
And Mayor DiDonato?
Yes, motion carried.
Next motion is to approve my representation of the Town of Hammonton and Chief regarding the litigation filed regarding involving certain officers, as discussed and closed.
So moved.
Gribben first.
Second.
Second, Oliva. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Fagioni?
Yes.
Gribben?
Yes.
Oliva?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
Mayor DiDonato?
Yes, motion carried.
That concludes my report.
All right, we'll go back to Councilman Rodeo.
I was just told that that equipment was delivered down at the lake on August the 9th. It's been sitting there since then. If that means anything, not the harbor.
Yeah.
And just to put a bow on what Mr. Herman said, he knows through Public Works that we're getting anxious, we're getting frustrated here. We have residents who are trying to get these projects done, Valleys especially. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago. We did a walkthrough at West End to look at the new development. I told him there personally, and we conveyed it again last week. That we're as a town, we're frustrated. We know the residents are frustrated. I do agree with the mayor here in that he has notices prepared for the contractor on all 3 projects if need be. I think the best course of action is to have ARH push him along and get done. I think once we start with the notices, it's going to slow this thing down more than it already is, but we're prepared to go that route if we need to. I just hope we don't have to. We just need to get done. I mean, I don't know how else to say it other than we just have to get these projects wrapped up. Valley, the residents have been more than patient. You're going on a project that started mid-June. Quite frankly, you could not ask for better weather in terms of construction. They lost very little time with rainfall. I remember when we did the other phase of Valley, it was a nightmare. We were pumping water every day. It was a mess. And thankfully, we don't have that issue, but we got to get that street squared away and serviceable and get a base coat on this thing sooner than later. As it goes with this here project at Schoolhouse Lane, we granted them the permission to close the road. The way that the sewer line and the water line's configured, they're stacked on top of each other in the middle of the road. So instead of them digging, backfilling every day, they've closed the road. They know that they need to expedite the process on that. And then obviously on the lake project, you know, if we were known we weren't going to put the playground equipment until now, we wouldn't have closed the park, and we did close the park initially. So it's frustrating on our end because we go to Parks and Recs and they said, what'd you close the park for? Well, we closed the park thinking we get the project done. So, you know, as the mayor said, I agree. Listen, if we get to it this week and get this thing behind us, we'll sort out all of our issues afterwards, but we just need to put these projects in the rearview mirror as far as I'm concerned.
I think you give them a schedule with major milestones, and if they hit the major milestones, no notice. But if they miss a major milestone, that triggers a notice.
And we could talk to Mr. Herman about that, yes. Yes.
I agree, Councilman Fragioni, and to your point about Valley Avenue and the work that was able to get done there because of the good weather that we had, it makes the situation at the park all the more frustrating.
Yes, it really does. It does. And, you know, I didn't talk about it when Mr. Herman was on the phone, I forgot, but, and I will say there are issues on Schoolhouse Lane that are not the contractor's fault. They did hit a sewer line early on in the project, which caused St. Joe to close for about a day and a half, which was very frustrating. But they found the sewer line last week that we had to deal with. We dug it up. I mean, it's going to be a change order. It's a time and material change order, but the lateral was buried under a tree that they didn't even find. So there's some things I can kind of say, okay, I understand here, but Valley is the most straightforward project you can get, and that thing should be done. And like you said, Mr. Gribben, the park is the park. I mean, it's playground equipment here. We're not talking about anything extensive. So yeah, we want to just get these things done, and we'll sort out all the issues afterwards.
All right. And I want to take a second just to thank ARH and Mark Herman. Mark was thrown in to a lot of these projects when he came back to ARH. They are doing an excellent job. Unfortunately, the problem is you don't get to pick the contractor you want, gang. You get to pick the lowest contractor unless you have a reason to throw his bid out. So you don't necessarily get the most qualified contractor, you get the cheapest. And we're trying to, you know, sometimes you don't get two aces.
That's the law.
And that's the law. Sometimes when you're playing poker, sometimes you want four aces and a full house, and you end up with two twos and you got to play them.
Right.
And that's what we're doing here. We're trying to get it done, get the projects got done, but that's the nature of the bid. We get the cheapest bidder, and that's the way it is.
You don't get brain surgery by going to the cheapest physician.
Exactly. So I want to thank ARH and Mark Herman. They're doing an excellent job dealing with the cards that they were dealt. All right. With that, we'll jump over to Mr. Vitisse.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll go through the action items first. The Finance Commission is generating new requirements or suggested requirements for amendments to their comprehensive management plan that would deal with a water allocation for municipalities and other users that are in a Kirkwood-Cohansey aquifer. So we asked Ray Ferreira for a price proposal to review those proposed regulations, and what he did is he gave us a proposal back in the amount of $8,000 to, there was 5 different topics that he took up. So the most important things is going to review the information that was submitted by Pinelands, or is being proposed by Pinelands, and put it in some comprehensive language that we all can understand. So he'll do that, and also be attending a public meeting at the Pinelands Commission on October the 12th, and he'll seek the town's input if there's any items that we need to bring up for discussion. He'll prepare a report of how that meeting went and what the discussions were, and then he'll meet with the mayor and town council and the
What was the total cost for that?
Utility individuals.
The total cost was?
Not to
He
exceed
said that
8,000.
it depends on how much work and he's got to review the data. So he's saying put a budget together for about $8,000.
Okay, I would put that in the form of a motion that we extend the contract offer to Dr. Ray Ferreira in order to investigate the implications to the town for the proposed Pinelands water quality changes to the CMP.
Thank you.
Waterman first,
Second, Mayor.
second for Joni. Discussion.
Dr. Ray is our consultant on all of our water and sewer issues.
And he is excellent. He is
The best.
excellent. All right. Any additional discussion from council? Roll call, please.
Councilperson for Joni?
Yes.
Gribben?
Yes.
Oliva?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
Mayor DiDonato?
Yes, motion carried.
Okay, the second thing I have for action consideration is, actually, we attended a meeting with the NJDOT and South Jersey Transportation Planning Organization. We met with them twice. Once we met with them to discuss a possible project down the lake, which would be along the water line of the lake. It would be a trail along the lake. They had said that that's a nice project, but it doesn't deal with transportation issues, so find another project. So what we did is we talked to the school, so we're looking at, and we met with them again about possibly putting a bike pedestrian path along Linden Avenue from Fairview Avenue all the way to the bridge crossing at Cedar Branch Stream, and then making another alternate connection between Linden Avenue and Liberty Street by the tennis courts and pickleball courts, and doing some improvements in those areas as far as marking bike paths and things like that. So we asked Triad, although the town and Scott Taylor had gotten together, and we had made the submissions to the South Jersey Transportation and DOT for discussion. So now we want to take the next step, because what they're saying, the comments we got back, it looked like it would be an application that they could support. So we asked Triad to give us a price to complete an application to the NJDOT for that particular work. They gave us a cost estimate of $89.50.
Correct.
So what we're going to do is recommend approval of that, subject to verification of funding consideration. And the other thing that we'll do is maybe see, since it involves both the town and the school, to see if the school can help out, maybe 50% of that cost for the application to the DOT. And actually, we're applying for about $1.3 million. So this investment, if we do get funded for it, it's a pretty good chunk of money for not that much of a cost.
One question, along the roadways like Linda Avenue as an example, marking that out, it would be a mark out of a bike path or a bikeway along the roadway itself, right?
Along Linden Avenue, we met with Frank Lasasso out there, another Lasasso we met with, since he knows the fields and he knows, what they used it for and things like that. So we probably have, there's an old chain link fence that's basically rusted. We'd have to move that further in. It wouldn't affect any of the field use.
So it's not really in the roadway itself?
It's not doing anything to the roadway itself along Linden Avenue. When we get to Liberty Street, we might do some striping along Liberty Street to allow, maybe a bike lane. But
So
we'll have to
that
take a
would
look at it.
preclude any on-street parking where the bike path would exist?
No, it would eliminate some parking along Linden Avenue, which there's plenty of parking on site. And just like in any other parks throughout South Jersey, usually people park in the safest spot for the parking area.
As long as we understand what the implications.
No, we had said that. In fact, one of the things that was brought out on our on-site meeting discussion was that we want to try and eliminate the parking that does now occur along Linden Avenue and then backs out onto Linden Avenue, when traffic's gone by. Not the safest situation. So, yeah, we are, and I've done it. I've parked there,
Well,
The other
middle
thing-
school, they could park at the middle school.
I got you.
The middle
Because I
school.
know that dirt parking lot fills up quickly.
Very
Well,
quickly.
no, we're
So you have
gonna-
to park at the middle school and And
Well, the other thing that we're doing
put
is
your tennis shoes on.
at the dirt parking lot, we're probably going to make right now it's a free-for-all along that dirt parking area. So
Yes.
we'd provide like a curb entrance to that. We'll do it, just a layout. We're not going to do anything with that parking lot as far as improvement-wise, but at least we'll channelize the flow. And the goal is to try and make everything safer, in that area for the traveling public, the walking public, the biking public in general.
It's coincidental this is being talked about right now. I actually had a conversation with Mr. Havermail last night about this. He's looking for ideas, ways. He's going to contact the chief, what to do on the 5 or 6 Saturdays of the hawk season, because it's
Chaos.
it's out of control.
It's chaos.
It is chaos. And you're exactly right. We were talking about it. All you got to do is walk across a baseball field, and you got the A-wing parking lot, and there's 6 cars in it. And you walk over to the B-wing parking lot across the tennis courts, and there's 3 cars in it. And along Linda Avenue, there's 600 cars.
Right.
But anywhere you go, I know, following sports the way I do a little bit, whether it's Absecon, Linwood, wherever you go in South Jersey, everybody tries to park as close as they can. Instead of parking where they belong in a parking lot and walking a little bit, including myself. All right, Mr. Lino? I knew where you were going with that. But yes, absolutely. Last night we were just talking about it, and he is going to approach the chief and whatever is coming down the road. He knows something has to be done there during them 5 Saturdays. And thank God we're getting very good response there. They're having great crowds, and the team, the league, the team, everything's really going well. He's really, really happy, but he knows he has a parking issue. And you're there.
I know, I'm there
Your
every
name came up,
Saturday.
I said, well, Tom's there every Saturday. He said, yup.
I'm lucky I can walk. So.
But anyway.
I imagine that Mr. Taylor has provided did he provide a schematic to show what that would look like? And then especially, through the middle school property, is that on the other side of the tennis courts? What was the thought process there?
We'd have to look at the wetlands in through there, so we'd probably keep them as close to the tennis courts as possible. And then probably have to provide some kind of on-site, recharge in areas because we're in the Pinelands. So it's not the design at this point, but it's just in the conceptual phase. But we know we're going to have to provide curbing in areas. We're going to have to provide stormwater recharge in areas. So in the estimate of cost, we're trying to budget those in the estimate and apply for that as part of the grant.
So you need a motion on the floor.
Subject to availability of funds and discussions with
funds for Triad to put together a grant application to the Department of Transportation.
Yes, exactly.
Was this their multimodal transportation program?
Yes.
In the amount of $8,900?
$8,950.
$8,950. I'll make that motion.
Bullerman first.
Second. Sorry.
Second for Joni. Okay, and we're going to try to get 50% of that from the school. Okay. All right. Additional discussion from council, please.
Just so we know, just Triad is very good and I'm trying to obtain these grants. So anytime we engage Triad, as we've been doing over the last year or so, we've had a good success rate. So, kudos to Triad, if I may say so.
Yep, tremendous success rate. And I want to thank Bobby. Bobby's done a lot of groundwork and so far in this. Great job, Bob.
Thank you.
Well, if you think about the team together, when you turn around and all the players working together as one, it makes for success.
Absolutely. All right. Roll call, please.
Councilperson for Joni?
Yes.
Gribben?
Yes.
Oliva?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
Mayor DiDonato?
Yes, motion carried.
Just some information. We did get a letter from the Pinelands Commission. The overland drip irrigation is going to be heard at their October meeting. So we're on the schedule. We'll see how that goes, but thank everyone for their help on that. So we'll have a better update probably at the October meeting, how we stand on that particular application. One other thing that came up at the public meeting, there was a public meeting session that I attended, and actually Brian Howe attended via Zoom, that there was someone who actually talked in favor of the application. It was Mr. Akers, who's also the representative of the Greater Harbor River Study. And one of his recommendations was that, please, approve the application. So it was good in that respect. And then he brought up that the Pinelands should try and support the town's application for other improvements that they do from a wastewater and stormwater standpoint, because we cannot take advantage of Pinelands infrastructure funds. We're at the headwaters of the Pinelands. So the only way that they can consider that, the Pinelands infrastructure funds are for regional growth communities. We're a town, we're not not designated as a regional growth. The only way that can change is through the state legislator. So we discussed possibly maybe seeking our help of our legislator and maybe asking him to see if he can push that along, because it only makes sense if there's money available and we're at the headwaters and we're doing the best to comply with all the regulations, help us out. So if that's okay,
We could thank a former state senator for that gift to Hammonton.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe we have an assemblyman now, a local assemblyman that could help out. I know we've been beating this horse for the 13 years I've been here, that every gallon of water we pump in the town of Hammonton, we have to dispose of in the town of Hammonton. Every gallon of water that comes from the sky in the town of Hammonton to our storm sorters, just basically, it gets infiltrated in our town limits. We're one of the few towns in the country that has that responsibility. So, since 2015, I believe, we've been out of the stream. We have not been in the stream, other than, I think, 1 or 2 days in 16 or 17, if I remember right.
15 was the last time.
15 was the last time, right? It was only a day or a couple days a week, maybe.
It was like a span of 4 or 5 days in March.
So we're doing our part for Pinelands, for the environment. We're doing our part, and we're killing ourselves and costing taxpayers a lot of money to do that.
Yep.
So any help we can get would be appreciated.
If it's okay, we'll direct that letter, put a letter together, give it to Mike, because Mike knows what we can
We
and
have to do
can't
that in
say.
a motion,
so.
Mayor, or no?
Yeah, if you want to do it for a motion,
I'll
go
make a
ahead.
motion.
I'll second.
I'm going to keep him busy.
Okay, for Joni first, I think I heard Oliva second.
Yep.
To write a letter to the assemblyman to seek some funds.
Keep him busy.
All right? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Just one, that was to seek some funds or to get Hammonton as a town or Pinelands towns in the infrastructure trust fund for the Pinelands.
That's right.
Have Pinelands towns incorporated as eligible receiving areas for that money.
Yep.
We'd be the only one, we're a Pinelands town.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't care if they do other Pinelands towns. I only care about Hammonton.
We are the only Pinelands town, correct?
Yeah.
In Pinelands, we are the only Pinelands town designation,
so.
right?
We are very special here in Hammonton.
But
We are very special people.
that's your motion though, right? To
Yes.
this-
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Two other things. Actually, today we got a letter from NJDEP. We did get the lake lowering permit, so I forwarded that to some of the council members on the parks. And we also forwarded to the DOT to let them know that we got the permit, and they should be looking to schedule their pipe inspection that we talked about earlier this year that crosses underneath Route 30. So just to keep them on their toes and say, start your scheduling now for that particular work. And then lastly, related to Public Works schedule, the October 10th is a holiday, Monday. So again, that would be the trash day for Monday, unless Scott can work out something different, would be, everyone's off that day. We picked up on Tuesday. And same thing with the bulky waste for that particular, or excuse me, it would be the brush week. So that way, your brush week for Monday would be on Tuesday. So it just moves back. That's basically all we have. Thank you.
All right, so, go ahead.
Now, the first is the townwide.
There's a townwide yard sale this weekend, starting Monday, 10/3.
And also that week there, we will pick up all bulky
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
The week after that, week after the yard sale?
So starting next Monday, the 3rd.
Third, right. It's Monday.
Through the 7th.
It's the 1st, and then we start the 3rd.
Be unlimited bulky
Right, for that
Right.
week.
for that
Okay.
week.
Okay.
We do every fall.
Right.
We do it twice a year, so it won't be just limited to the 3 pieces. So starting Monday, October 3rd, next Monday, unlimited bulky. If your trash day is Monday, it'll be on Monday through Friday. Now, just so you understand, when it's an unlimited week, sometimes we won't pick, if you're on the 3rd, get your stuff out there, but sometimes we need an extra day because the guys are working so hard, so it may actually get it all out Monday through Friday, the 3rd through the 7th, and we'll pick it up on your day or for a day or so behind.
And Mayor, we still have the usual restrictions, so no carpet.
Tires.
No carpet, no tires, no construction material.
No chemicals, paints, things of that nature.
Yep.
Right? Do we take refrigerators?
We do, but you have to come get a
Make a permit.
Permit, yep.
All right. And then brush will start on the, supposedly start on the 10th, but in this case, it'll actually start on Tuesday, the 11th, as Columbus Day is the 10th.
Exactly.
All right? Is that it, Mr. Vitisse?
That's it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Zuber, you're up.
Thank you,
Mayor,
Mayor.
excuse me, one minute, sorry, Frank.
Go ahead.
I would like to just thank Bobby. He's been, between Bobby and AJ Bernardo and Frank Sacco, they have taken on these different retention ponds that are owned by the different places around town, like Walmart, there used to be Empire there, the corner building, that we're trying to get these different businesses to clean up their properties and clean up their retention ponds. And I know the one right now there in front of Walmart, it really does look good. We took a ride by, and I want to give you a lot of credit. It's not easy to stay on them guys there, and I know everyone's taking a visit to not Greenbrier, it's
Center, Hammonton Center.
Heritage.
Yeah, Hammonton Center and Heritage, where these retention ponds were let go for 20 years. Yeah. But we're going to stay on them, and they're going to start to clean these up for us.
And also, it took a long time for them to get in that bad condition.
Yep,
So we
yep.
told them as long as we see progress moving,
right.
it's going to take them a while to
Right.
clean it up because they have been overgrown.
Even behind Walmart and like along there, like next to Taco Bell and Brand Jewelers, there's 6 or 7 of them through there. And I want to thank Bobby. I know every day you're pounding on somebody. So.
Well, and I want to thank both Councilman Rodeo and Councilman Woolen for coming out there because it shows, like Mr. Olivo said, is if we have a support,
Right.
rather than us going out by ourselves, if we have the support of council, they know that town's serious.
Yep. And not only it makes the areas look really nice. It
Oh,
really
yeah.
does. It makes the town look good.
Well, sight distance is a lot better too.
Exactly, and sight distances also.
All right.
That's all.
Thank you very much. With that, we'll go to clerk/administrator's report. Zuber, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. Under the clerk's report, I have 2 items. First, approval to hire Michaels and Groney effective as of September 1st, 2022 in the Highway Department. Yearly salary of $33,280. Single benefits, 40 hours per week, and this is contingent upon all civil service rules and regulations. Number 2, approve Alexandro Rodriguez as regular member of Fire Company Number 1, effective as of September 26, 2022. Background check complete, and was approved by Fire Company at their meeting on September 21st of 2022. Approval is read.
Motion, please. So moved. Woolerman first.
Second.
Second, Gribben. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Forgione?
Yes.
Gribben?
Yes.
Oliva?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
And Mayor DiDonato.
Yes, motion carried.
Approval of bill list?
So moved.
Gribben first.
Second.
Second, Oliva. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Forgione?
Yes.
Gribben?
Yes.
Oliva?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
Mayor DiDonato.
Yes, motion carried.
I have resolutions. I have Resolution 126, award specialized services contract. 127, this is a 159 budget addition for the Mazza property, and that's in the amount of $151,160. Resolution 128, also a 159 budget addition. This is for the K&K building next door, 224 Vine Street, and that's in the amount of $223,647. Resolution 129 is the annual audit. Resolution 130 is the audit corrective action plan. Resolution number 131, approved tree lighting event. Resolution 132, authorized electronic tax sale. Resolution 133, authorized contract for electronic tax sale. Resolution 134, authorizing tax, water, sewer refunds. Resolution 135 is approval of the St. Mary of Mount Carmel Church Fall Festival. Resolution 136 is a support opioid abuse day. And 137 we took underneath the engineer's report, so we already done that one. So approval is read 126 to 137 in resolutions.
Motion from council, please.
So moved.
Second the motion.
Gribbin, Olivo, discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Fagioni?
Yes.
Gribbin?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
Mayor DiDonato?
Motion carried. Thank you very much.
And that concludes my report, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. That completes our agenda with the exception of a second opportunity for the public to be heard. Second opportunity. Seeing no one, we'll close that public portion. Is there anything else for the good of the order from council, please?
Just if I may, real quick, one of the resolutions we have is support the opioid abuse day. If you see it at home, please try to correct it at home. You need to do it. We have friends that may be involved in that crisis. It is a crisis. Me being a pharmacist that doesn't fill prescriptions anymore, I've seen it whether doctors carry the medications too far, and sometimes people just get hooked on medications. I know I'm kind of going off on a little bit of a tangent though, but sometimes we might see something that it's almost like see something, say something, help your family member out, help your friend out if you notice that they're kind of going down the wrong path in that situation. Just like my little public comment on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Councilman Olivo. It's sad, it's very sad to see, in some cases, we're losing a whole generation, I believe, or quite a bit, you know.
And then you might...
Drugs and alcohol and...
And you see sometimes you'll like be reading the newspaper and you might read the obituary and you'll see, you know, a young person, doesn't have to be a young person, could be anywhere, and all of a sudden when you're reading it, it says, you know, support people for awareness or whatever it may be. But they need some support. So support begins at home. So the best you could do for that.
And I should have said we're losing a whole generation. We're losing a large portion of generations. I should say it that way. And sad. All right. Anything else for the good of the order? With that, I accept the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion, Mayor.
Adjourn first.
Second.
Live a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, Hammonton.
I have one last thing.
Yeah.
I want to say happy birthday.
Whose birthday?
My daughter.
Oh, your daughter Bryn.
My daughter Bryn is 10 years old today.
Bryn, happy birthday, honey. Happy birthday and happy Halloween, Hammonton. Enjoy your day, Bryn. And Grace was what, a week ago? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, a week ago. 13.
And she's a teenager. Boy, there's gray hair in that head, brother. Good night, Hammonton.
Good night.
Good night.